The king continued, "Sages only speak of the inner and the outer, which are but words with no corresponding substance. It is meant to instruct the ignorant." Well, if you're going to talk about these things, then you have to talk in dualistic terms. The seer himself, remaining unseen, sees himself, and the seer does not ever become an object of consciousness. There's a lot in that sentence. The seer himself, remaining unseen, sees himself. Whatever is doing the seeing, if it actually looks at itself, well then you're in a then you're removed from duality. And the seer sees himself, or it should be maybe sees itself. When the seer sees itself, it is not an object of consciousness. So whenever you see something, it's usually an object of consciousness. But if you direct the seeing back to itself, then you're beyond duality. If you're interested in a practical demonstration of this, then have a look under headlessness on YouTube. Douglas Harding gave some exercises for experience this. You can actually, if you follow your finger and you point to yourself, you follow the direction of your finger right to yourself. Allow your attention to follow along your finger to where the finger is pointing. Then you come to that point where you're seeing yourself. The seer is the sight only, and when the latent psychic impressions have ceased, the seer regains its pure being. The seer is the sight only. Whenever you're looking at something, what's happening? Is there somebody looking at something, or is there only what is being looked at? So the seer is the sight only. When the external object is imagined, a seer has been created. So when you start thinking in terms of an object and somebody seeing the object, well then if you start thinking in terms of an object, then there has to be somebody seeing the object, and so the seer is created. If there is no subject, there is no object either. It is the sun that makes a man father. It's the sun that makes a man father. So that's quite a clever one, isn't it? It's the sun that makes a man father. Again, it is the subject that becomes the object. There is no object, sight, without a subject, seer. Even as without a father there is no son. Because the subject, seer, is pure consciousness, he is able to conjure up the object. This cannot be the other way round. The object does not give birth to the subject. Therefore the seer alone is real, the object being hallucination. Gold alone is real. The bracelet is a name and a form. As long as the notion of bracelet lasts, the pure gold is not apprehended. As long as the notion of the object persists, the division between the seer and the seen also persists. But just Just as because of the consciousness in the bracelet, gold realizes its goldness, the subject, seer, manifesting as the object, the seen, realizes subjectivity, consciousness. One is the reflection of the other. There is no real duality. The seer does not see himself as he sees the object. The seer sees himself as the object, and therefore does not see. Though he is the reality, yet he appears to be unreal. However, when self-knowledge arises and the object ceases to be, the seer subject is realized as the sole reality. Well, there's a lot to consider there, a lot to open yourself up to. When you try to explain it, it does come out rather convoluted like this, although it makes perfect sense if you are if you stop trying to interpret and explain what is going on and just be with it. Just be with it. If you stop filtering things through ideas and preconceptions, then this paragraph is just explaining or just describing things as they are. Not explaining anything, it's just describing things. The subject exists because of the object, and the object is but a reflection of the subject. Duality cannot be if there is not one. And where is the need for the notion of unity if one alone exists? When thus real knowledge is gained by means of right inquiry and understanding, only that remains which is not expressible in words. Of that it cannot be said that it is one or that it is many. It is neither seer nor seen, neither subject nor object, neither this nor that. Neither unity nor diversity can be truly established as the truth, for every thesis gives rise to antithesis. Yet one is not different from the other, just as the wave is not other than water. Bracelet is not different from gold. Even so, division is not a contradiction of unity. All this speculation concerning unity and diversity is only to overcome sorrow. That which is beyond all this is the truth, the supreme self. So this teaching is often called the teaching of non-duality, but we have to take that with a pinch of salt as well, because you know, we can only by calling itself non-duality, or by calling it non-duality, we're setting it in opposition to other things, which is not the point.